When I was 15, I ran away from home. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was broke and didn't have a job to support myself. I didn't know what to expect out there. I didn't run away from home because we had problems. I ran away so I could make my own choices. And doing that only made my life a living hell. I ended up in East Waco, a part of town I knew nothing about. At that time, I didn't know anything or anybody on the block. One day while walking to the store, a dude pulled up and asked me if I wanted a ride. I refused, but he wouldn't give up. I told him the store was only up the street. When I got to the store, he was waiting for me. I walked in and got what I wanted, and he walked in and told me he would pay for it. His name was Derek. I smiled at him and told him thank you. I guess he took my comment as a flirtatious remark, because when I walked out the store, he grabbed my arm and asked me to ride around and smoke with him while he sold crack. I went with him. At the time, I was smoking weed, but I was only a beginner. I barely knew how to inhale the smoke. He was flirting with me while we were riding. I took it as I was something he wanted bad, so I flirted back. We stopped at a couple of places to eat, and then we rode around a couple of blocks. We stopped at his house to chill. We smoked about 8 blunts, and he offered me 3 Xanax. We called them bars. I took all 3 of them. When I swallowed them, he asked me, "You ready?" I said, "For what?" Later, I found myself asleep on the floor. He came and woke me up and asked me how I felt. I felt so good. He started kissing me, and I said, "Is this all you think of me?" He told me exactly what I wanted to hear. "No, I want to be with you." It became an everyday thing that we would just chill and have sex. But those days started getting shorter and shorter. We stopped talking for about a month. I started dating a dude I knew. Come to find out, him and Derek were enemies, but I didn't know at the time. We dated for 4 months, and I would see Derek around a lot. When he saw us together, he would mug me, and I didn't know what was going on. But a lot of people told me Derek was going to mess me up because I was going with that boy. Derek was starting to get real violent and jealous. I didn't notice any of it until he asked me to meet him at a store, and I got in the car with him. It felt weird, so I asked him what was wrong. He told me to shut up and ride, so I did. We pulled up at his house. I asked him what we were doing. He told me to shut up and get out of the car. When we walked into his house, he told me to go in the room and shut the door. I did. I heard 2 other dudes walk into the living room. Derek came into the room. He grabbed me and threw me against the wall, and he grabbed me by my neck and told me that he should kill me. I fell to the ground and tried to catch my breath, and he swung and hit me in my side. I screamed loud and I told him to stop, but he kept swinging. He told his homeboys to come in. One of them told me to stand up and take off my clothes. I asked Derek, "Why are you doing this to me?" He told me, "'Cause you be playing games with me and you know what you be doing." His homeboys handed me 5 bars and told me to relax. I was scared and helpless, so I didn't have a choice but to take them, or else they would hurt me even more. I started feeling dizzy and confused. One of his homeboys started taking my clothes off, and I couldn't stop them because I felt weak inside and on the outside. I didn't know whether to be scared or just be calm. Derek told his homeboys to have fun with me and left the room. I started kicking and screaming, telling them to get off me. One was holding me down, and the other was raping me. My body felt numb, and I was breathless. I felt blood running down my leg. When he was done, the other dude got on top of me, while the other one held me down. Only thing I could say is "Mama," and stop. But they didn't show any sympathy. When they were done, Derek looked at me with a grin and told me to clean myself up. I tried to get up and put my clothes on, but I couldn't move. Why was he doing this to me? I never did anything to hurt nobody. Why did this have to happen to me? What did I do wrong? Derek dropped me off down the street from my boyfriend's house. He was standing outside with two of his homeboys. When he saw me walking toward his house, he ran to me and looked at me, asking me what had happened over and over again. I burst out crying, and he hugged me and asked where he at. I looked at him with tears running down his face. I told him, no, babe, it was my fault. I should have never gotten in the car with him. And I told him everything that happened. Derek ruined me for the rest of my life. I thought all that was over, but it only got worse. My boyfriend and I broke up, so I started staying with one of my female friends. She took care of me, but she also knew Derek and was close to him. When I would walk to the store, I would see a lot of Derek's homeboys, and they would tell me to stop. And they would say, man, Derek's looking for you. Don't go to that store, mama. That even made me more scared, because the fact he ruined me for life, but yet he was still looking for me, trying to hurt me more. I was scared I was going to lose my life. One day while I was at the barber shop getting my eyebrows done, Derek walked in and whispered something in the barber's ear. I felt a heavy spirit in the room, and suddenly I felt tense and intimidated by his presence. Derek walked over by me and grabbed me by the throat and threw me out of the chair. I tried to remove his hands, but he was gripping my throat tight. He finally let me go, and he punched me in the face. When I woke up, Derek was standing outside on his phone talking. I walked outside and started walking home. He seen me and said, oh, so now you want to cry? You better be lucky I like you, or else I would have killed you. Those words hurt so badly, and I felt like I wasn't worth anything at all. But I also thought that he loved me. That's why he did those things to me. I went back to Derek. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Really? But I was looking for love in the wrong places. I was young. Things were 10 times worse when I went back. Almost every day he would beat me and rape me. He had me on about 7 bars at a time so his friends could do whatever they wanted to me. I thought Derek loved me, but he didn't. Eventually he started pimping me. He drugged me up with meth, Xanax, and a shot of vodka. In different hotel rooms, he would introduce me to guys and grown men that I would have sex with for about $200 each. I felt Derek was doing these things out of love. All I wanted was to feel like I was worth something. I was addicted to drugs, my body was beaten up, and I was sleeping with strangers for money that went to a man who abused me. I desperately wanted out, but he always ended up finding me. I started dating my old boyfriend again and moved away with him. I told him everything that Derek was doing to me and had me doing. He told me to report it, but I feared it would only make things worse. For about 3 weeks, I didn't see Derek. When I found out he was looking for me, I called the police to pick me up. Locking myself up was the only way I was going to get out of this situation. I told the police everything that had happened, and they took me in and pressed charges on Derek. I don't know if Derek is locked up or still on the streets trafficking girls just like he had trafficked me. My hope is that I can move on. I want to be able to accept my past and look toward my future. I want my story to reach out and touch others, to make them understand that what happened to me can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter your age or your race. Stay safe. By the grace of God, I made it out of that situation, and I'm here today sharing my story.